Good morning, this is Jerry Zremski from the Buffalo News Washington Bureau. I'm coming to you with my weekly summary of how things are looking for the week ahead in Washington. And it's promising to be another very busy week for me. I think if you've been reading my stories lately, you'll know that I've got three fairly major stories all going at one time. And I'm expecting more and more developments about each one as the coming weeks progress. First and foremost, we have congressional redistricting in New York State, which I've mentioned many weeks in a row now. And now finally we do have news about that. We have competing plans from the Senate Republicans and the Assembly Democrats in Albany. We have the judges plan out of New York City, and a lot of different possibilities for what the shape of our congressional districts will look like. I'm expecting some sort of resolution to this issue sometime this week. Either the legislature is going to accept the judge's proposal, which gives Kathy Hochul, the congresswoman from Amherst, a very difficult district. Either that or the legislature will come up with a plan of its own. And there is some motivation for it to do that. There are Republicans who are every bit as unhappy with this map as Democrats are. As a matter of fact, I was speaking this morning on a conference call with Congressman Tom Reed, a Republican from Corning, who made it very clear that he had some concerns about his district and how Tompkins County, for example, is divided among two different representatives and so on. So there will be pressure from both Democrats and Republicans to come up with a deal that treats both Democrat and Republican incumbents well. So perhaps that will be the plan. We'll find out, I believe, this week. Secondly, I'm going to be continuing my focus on the Niagara Falls Air Reserve Station and the future of the 107th unit there, the National Guard unit there. I've been writing very extensively about that, and I hope to do some more this week. It's a very hard story to report because it's very different than when the Pentagon proposed closing the Niagara Falls Air Base 7 years ago. At that time, there was all sorts of real concrete information that I could look at about what was being planned at the Pentagon and why the decision was made. There's a lot less information this time that's been revealed publicly about why this decision has been made to essentially take all the jobs and the mission away from the 107th. So I'm just going to have to do some digging here, and I'm continuing to do that, and I believe I will come up with some very interesting, good stories as I do that, that try to reveal more about why this decision was made. Thirdly, and certainly not lastly, there's the issue of the Postal Service's decision to close its processing center in Buffalo. I've been covering that closely. I've written some pretty in-depth stories about that as well, and I'm going to keep trying to find out more about this, and we'll see how it goes. I don't have anything specific on my agenda about that yet, but it's one of those stories that I'm just continuing to follow with all the diligence that I possibly can. So that's enough to keep me busy. It's been, those three stories have really kept me busy for 2 weeks now, and I expect them to do the same this week, which is actually good because the House, again, is not in session this week, which means that the amount of legislative news would be fairly light. So that's the way it's looking here on this spring Monday in Washington, D.C., and I hope you'll be reading my stories, and I hope you'll tune in next week for my next update. Thank you very much.